Our scripture lesson today is from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet, 'And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel.' Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, 'Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage.' When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Stars carry power, captivating the human imagination since humanity could imagine. We know that the ancients interpreted the cosmos around them by the constellations in the sky: Orion, the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, the Gemini twins, Scorpius, and the like. Ancient mariners would chart the stars in order to navigate the seas. Some cultures believe that the stars are the spirits of their ancestors. From Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night to Rapunzel in Disney's Tangled, singing, "Now I'm here, blinking in the starlight." Stars keep showing up. So important are they to our understanding of the world that when we wish history to change, we ask that we might be able to rewrite the stars. Or when two lovers meet in tragedy, we say that they're star-crossed. We're taught to wish on a star in hopes of bringing something into the future. And be honest, some of you have checked your horoscope since the new year to see what the stars have in store for you in 2026. And because stars have this nautical, cosmic, artistic, magical, romantic power, it is possible to see the value the star has for a marketing campaign. If you don't know the story, you know the image, the Mill Mountain Star here in Roanoke. It shines out over our city every single day. Originally constructed in 1949, it was put together by the business leaders of Roanoke to promote holiday shopping. But the star became so prominent that there were efforts to keep it illumined all year long. And so we proudly say that the Mill Mountain Star, let me get this right, is the world's largest freestanding, illuminated, man-made star. It's the staple of our community, our identity together, calling ourselves the Star City. We hang Christmas ornaments of it on our tree. We make designs of it out of chocolate and sell it in shops. We buy prints and photographs of it and hang it in our home. We know who we are by our star. Well, it's star power that drives our story today. These astronomers from the east, they've noted a new star in the heavens, and they come to Jerusalem to find this newborn king. They've been studying the stars, as people have been forever, and they see this thing that is new. And something moves in them to pack up their belongings, load up their camels, and travel from present-day Iraq over the desert sands to Jerusalem. Why they would be interested in a new king for the nation of Israel, we don't really know, but something is so compelling about this new star in the heavens that they go forward to see where the star will lead and what will await them when they get there. What we discover is that these Eastern philosophers are much more observant than Herod's own religious leaders who have not seen the star in the heavens, though we might offer them a bit of forgiveness. They're mostly interested in perpetuating the power of the current king than looking for a sign of a new king who's going to replace him. Herod conceals his rage and fear and hopes that he can manipulate these astrologers to reveal to him the location of this child so that he could, in his nefarious plot, eliminate this potential rival. So the wise men journey on, following the star like ancient navigators of the sea. And what they find on their journey is not a depiction of a god with thunderbolts in his fists or a mighty warrior in battle. They don't find an even grander palace than the one of Herod's. They don't land on a shoreline of a new land that's been undiscovered until now. They don't even come across a beautiful painting like Van Gogh's Starry Night. They don't find some marvelous new musical rendition to listen to. What they find is not even a commercial promotion. There's no Bethlehem, the star city of the Levant. Now, what they find is a modest home with a baby and his parents. No symbol of might or power, no new philosophies or technological advances. There's nothing here worth visually celebrating, except that this is the house where the star has stopped. This is what has rewritten the stars. And these foreign dignitaries, they walk into this modest home and they lay their expensive gifts before this child, not because there's any evidence that they are present at a royal site. They simply do it because they've been following the star, and this is where the star stopped. And what happens to them in the offering of these gifts changes them. For they do not return to Herod, but they go back home by another road. Such is the star power that they've experienced. They've moved from following the star, following the light, to encountering the one who tells them that they are bearers of the light. They come to know who they are by the star. In his novel, This Tender Land, author William Kent Kruger tells the story of 4 runaway children navigating the Gilead River on their way to St. Louis in the midst of the Great Depression. In the midst of their journey, they settle on the outskirts of a town where they hear this angelic voice singing, and it beckons them to find themselves in a tent revival. It's at that revival that they meet Sister Eve. Sister Eve is a charismatic leader, a preacher, a healer, and a miracle worker. Every time she appears on stage at the revival, she's bathed in light. She wears a glowing white robe, her auburn hair cascading over her shoulders, her voice sweet with empathy. Now, I've read other William Kent Kruger books. He's a cynic. So I admit, when I got to this point, I expected him to do the usual thing and destroy mystery, eliminate this character's worthiness. But as the story went on, it's revealed that Sister Eve does actually possess power to heal people from their physical maladies. So it doesn't happen at every revival service. Sometimes she stages it, but it's with people who've experienced genuine healing in times past. On one occasion, a man runs into the tent with ill intent, and she takes him by the hand, sees into his soul, and leads him into a moment of transformation. In another scene, a man grieving the death of his wife comes in, unable to accept his own role in her death. Sister Eve offers him consolation. In another scene with Odie, the 12-year-old runaway of the group, he and Sister Eve are talking about her role and her healing powers, and Odie says to her, "Sister Eve, everybody who meets you thinks that you're perfect." She laughs. "Only God is perfect, Odie. To the rest of us, he gave all kinds of wrinkles and cracks. If we were perfect, the light he shines on us would just bounce right off. But the wrinkles, they catch the light. And the cracks, that's how the light gets inside us. When I pray, Odie, I never pray for perfection. I pray for forgiveness because I know it's the only prayer that will always be answered." What makes Sister Eve so unique is not her healing ability. It's not her angelic singing voice. It's not the light she's bathed in on stage. What draws people to her like the Magi following the star is her prayer. It is the promise of forgiveness, that the light can get caught in our wrinkles. The light can penetrate us through our cracks. So thus we come to know who we are in the light of the star. I don't know what the wise men knew, at least in their minds. I know that they saw something in the heavens. They packed up everything they had. They journeyed across dangerous terrain, carrying expensive gifts that they had to get across the sands and through customs in Jerusalem. I know they came to this foreign land with this wicked king. They risked their lives. They went to this modest house. They found this helpless babe. I just can't help but wonder if the light that was in that star was the same light they saw in that child. And did those brilliant astronomers, with all of their scientific equations, all their knowledge of the gods, all their explanations of history, all of their influence and power with the political establishment, did they discover here something new stirring within them? Did the light get caught in their laugh lines and crow's feet? Did the light find its way in through the cracks in their skin and peel back the scars on their soul? Was this the moment that made it all worth it? That in this child was something in all of their study they'd never seen anywhere else. The light of forgiveness. The light of forgiveness opens you to a new revelation and sends you home by a different road. So, friends, I have a New Year's challenge for us. When you go out by whatever road, when you find yourself looking up at the star that hangs over our city, don't focus on the cold metal or the bright white light or the pointy ends at the tip of each arm. Don't think about the prestige, the size, the history. Let that star be for us a reminder that we have been forgiven. And let that move in us to become a people of forgiveness. For anonymous folks you only know online, to the deepest relationships of friendship and family, to the people who you just pass in the day. For in this way, by this light, we will truly know who we are by the star.